Yes, Kevin Warren's come out and said probably 20 teams for the Big Ten, and at some point players will be paid. What do you think about those two things?
Did not hear that. I think the expansion part of college football is something I think everybody's talking about because there's been a lot of realignment in the last couple of years, but I'm not privy to any of that. That was the first time we heard of it. The paying the players thing is something that's probably going to happen in the future, as long as they can figure out a way for it to comply with all the rules. So,
are you in favor of that?
Yeah, I think the players should get paid if it can be worked out the right way. But sometimes you're going to have to blow up the model though, because the revenue producing sports pay for the other sports. So if you take the revenue and you're paying the players, then where does that other money come from? So I think that's what all of the administrators are trying to figure that part out. So.
You're a big fan of living in the moment, having a really good Friday. Is this all this focus on the future? Does that make it harder to do that?
It doesn't, because our North Star for this group is, and we talked about in our first team meeting, is two things: this team and this season. We have a bunch of players that have given everything to this program. Mo, Blay, Martin Andrus, Dorian, Zach, all those guys, they're not going to be here in 2 years. So I think if our focus and attention is on something in 2 years, then we're not doing what our job is, and that's to create an environment for those guys to be successful. So we're aware of it, but I don't have anything to do, and our coaching staff has nothing to do with any of the planning or what's going into that part of it. So, again, our North Star is just this team and this season.
Antonio Mafi's done a great job of...
That's a great segue, by the way. We went from Kevin Warren and pay it to Neil. I think we should pay Neil.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has done a great job.
He said he lost 70 pounds since the day he stepped on campus. He looks like a different person. Can you talk about his journey and what he's done to get him in position to be where he is now?
Yeah, really, really proud of Neo and everything he's done. And I think just a special kid. Graduated, is in grad school. He's always been a stellar kid in the classroom, and just keeps getting better and better on a daily basis. And if you watch what had gone into, when he came here, I think he was 4'11" when he got here, 411 pounds, not 4 feet 11. And he's just worked so hard. A lot of our coaches, we come in and work out in the morning, before workouts, and you see Neo up on the elliptical on his own, and see him on the stationary bike on his own, and just putting in the extra time. And it's paying off for him as a player. You watch what he's doing on the field right now, and you kind of get excited. The one thing for Neo is I think he has a future too in football. If he continues to keep making the strides that he's made, and they're incremental, like anything. But he's doing a heck of a job, and really proud of him. Again, in the classroom, on the field, everything. Neo is what you want to coach, and he's a lot of fun. He's got a great personality. I'm just happy for him, because what he's reaping right now is what he's sown, and that's the cool part about this sport. This sport is a developmental sport, and I think the key component to it is making sure you have kids that want to be developed, and Neo has always had that kind of growth mindset. So really, really excited to see how Neo plays this season.
How impressive is it to you that Neo, losing all the weight and kind of reshaping his body and changing positions, is one of two guys on the roster who's played in every single game that you've coached here for?
Yeah, I never thought of that. I mean, that you brought it up, and now, yeah, he did. Because he was playing on the D line when he first got here. But it's just fun to be around people like that. That's the cool part about being at this place, is that you have kids like that are driven to be successful in everything. Driven in the classroom, driven on the football field, and it's fun. When you get to see it. You think back and you're like, wow, it seems like a long time ago, but it goes like that. And I think taking advantage of the opportunities that were presented to him, he's taking advantage of every opportunity, both athletically and academically. So, the credit goes to him. The one thing about this game, and we talk about it all the time, is pretenders get exposed once you cross the lines. There's a lot of people that talk about it, but it's not talking about it, it's doing it. And that's what Neil's done. Neil's really done it. So couldn't be happier for him.
Adding a big-time outside receiver like Jake Bobo, who had so much production at Duke, how much does that change the emphasis of this offense, the passing attack specifically, from the slot-oriented kind of?
Yeah, really good question. I think it gives us, we've had some tremendous inside receivers. Obviously, Greg playing for Denver right now as a tight end inside, Devin and Caleb Wilson before that, they had been our leading receivers. And then obviously what Kyle did in the 4 years he was here, and he's really playing really well for Tennessee from what we understand right now. So, the dominant part of our passing game has been our inside receivers. But when you have someone like Jake, who's a 70-plus catch guy at a Duke, when everybody knew that the ball was being thrown to him. When I watched the game on a Thursday night when they were playing Louisville, and even the announcers said, well, they're going to Bobo, and I knew they were going to Bobo. I know Louisville had scouted them, they were going to Bobo, and he was still making plays. So to have that guy out there, it really just depends on how defenses choose to defend you. They're going to play more cover 2 and put people over the top, and if that happens, then that opens up things for other people. But if those people are making plays, then it comes back to him getting singles. But the one thing Jake has really proven since we've seen him through the spring and into camp so far this year is that he can make the contested one-on-one catches. And when the ball's up, it's not a 50-50 ball with Jake. It's more like an 80-20 ball for him, which is a real positive. So to have a guy out there, and I think you watch our quarterbacks, Dorian and Garbs and those guys really comfort where, hey, it looks like someone's running with him, but if I throw it to his back shoulder, I know Jake's going to come up with it. So I think it's going to help us because I think it's going to spread out the defenses in terms of how they try to defend us.
Mike Martinez not being with the team anymore, do you expect that to change how you use the tight end position this year, more or less 12, 13?
I mean, obviously losing Mike is difficult just because of what a great person he was and what a great teammate he was and what a great guy he was in the locker room, and also the impact that he had, and specifically because of his physicality at the point of contact at the line of scrimmage. But if we just go back to last year, Mike went down in the Fresno game, so we didn't really have him for all last season either from a playing standpoint. So, you have to morph, and it's no different than if someone were to sprain an ankle and then they're out, then your game plan has to change, and you got to kind of continue to develop the guys you have behind them, and then see what's available for you. So, we're part of our game planning is going through all those things, like who's available this week and what do we do. So, the fact that we went through most of last season without Mike because of the injuries that he had, I think we understand kind of what we can do. But we feel confident, and I know when a lot of pro scouts come here and they look at our tight end group as a whole, it's a pretty talented group. And we added 2 really good young players in Carson and Jack, and they're doing a great job of fitting in. But when you look at Hudson and Mike and Preedy and guys that have played in games for us, we feel confident that you're not going to replace Mike with one person, but I think we've got maybe 4, maybe 5 guys that can play at that position.
I don't think we've spotted Jabari Price. Is he still making his way back?
He's here. He's still making his way back. So he's in full rehab mode, but won't be in camp. Won't be. I don't know when he'll be cleared to get to the field, but he's working extremely hard at rehab. But that's kind of what the mode he's in right now.
How would you kind of assess the overall health of the team a couple of weeks out from the opener?
Yeah, 15 to be specific. We talked about it this morning. We really, as we look at it, one more week at camp, and then we got to get into game week. But our overall health has been good. I think there's been a guy or two that's missed a training session, but for overall so far it's been good. I think our guys know how to practice. Our practices have been great. I think the effort, the attention to detail and things like that we're getting, but they also know there's times when our safety could take a shot at a kid going down the seam, but they don't because it's the teammate. They know that they can pull out of that, and they're practicing like you do when you're in the NFL. I think our players really truly understand that. So right now, 15 days out, we're good. But as we know, something could go down in the beginning of next week, and we got to be conscious of everything nowadays. So, but I think so far we've been really pleased with what we've been getting out of our guys. So.
What's been your assessment of the defensive line to this point?
They've done a really nice job. I think we've got some. It's a unique combination. We've got some size. When you look at Jay and you look at Gary Smith and Morton, you got 300-pounders there, or 300-pound plus guys there. And then I think on the interior defensive tackles, you got some movement guys. Jacob Sykes has added a lot because there's some quick twitch there, even though he's 285 pounds, but he's an active move guy. Sedeveni Kafusi's done a really nice job. Dovid Magna has done a really good job, up front. And then on the edges, I think, with Bo, who's played a lot of football for us, and Carl, who's played a lot of football for us, and then you have the Murphy twins and Latu out there. I think we've got, what we need, and I think at any position besides quarterback, we're going to rotate people, because you try to keep people fresh. So I think we're developing some depth there, and it's been encouraging. They've done a really nice job through the spring and so far in camp.
All right, thanks.